Can you imagine the secret to a longer life? Sitting quietly in the bottom corner of your pantry, hiding behind flashy cereal boxes and shiny bottles of supplements. A tiny tin can, no bigger than your palm, priced at just a few dollars, holding more power than the pills lining our medicine cabinets. We've been overlooking it for decades. Why? Because it smells strong, because it looks simple, because it's too cheap to be taken seriously. But ask any doctor worth their salt in senior diet science, and they'll tell you what's inside. That can could be one of the most complete sources of nutrition for seniors. I'm talking about canned sardines. Yes, the same ones we wrinkle our noses at. But here's the truth. What seems ordinary to most is often treasured by those who possess real elderly wisdom. Our misunderstanding about canned sardines' health isn't just about taste. It's a reflection of how easily we dismiss things that are accessible, humble, and real. We've been conditioned to chase expensive health trends -omega-3 capsules in designer bottles, imported fish oils, miracle supplements with labels we can't pronounce. And yet, a can of sardines offers all of that, and more. Let me tell you a true story. There's an old man named Richard Lewis, retired postman, 72, tough as leather but fiercely stubborn. Spends nearly $200 a month on high-end supplements, Norwegian fish oil, joint support pills, heart health blends. His wife, Ellen, a retired schoolteacher, couldn't bear to watch him spend all their savings on capsules. One day, she picked up 6 cans of sardines from the local grocery store, $1.49 each. She didn't say a word, just added them quietly to her meals a few times a week. 6 months later, during their routine checkup, Ellen's cholesterol had improved dramatically. Her bone density, excellent. Blood pressure, steady. The doctor even said her arteries looked 10 years younger than her age. Richard, not much had changed. His triglycerides were still high. His arteries were still stiff. That afternoon, he looked at the empty sardine can in the sink and asked her softly, "Is this what's been working for you?" Ellen smiled and said, "Sometimes, the simple things are the most powerful." This is where real elderly wisdom begins, not in flashy ads, but in humble truth. And today, we're going to uncover the quiet power of sardines, what science says, what seniors are now realizing, and how one small choice can change your entire path of healthy aging. Forget the labels. Let's dive into the facts. Part 2. Sardines. And the science of the heart. Let's imagine your arteries as plumbing inside an old house. Over time, minerals build up, the flow slows down, and the risk of a blockage grows. It's not so different with our own bodies. As we age, plaque from cholesterol starts to cling to the walls of our blood vessels. If ignored, that buildup can lead to heart attacks and strokes. That's where omega-3 South come in. You've likely heard of them. They're the janitors of our bloodstream, scrubbing away the grime, clearing out the sludge, helping the blood flow smoothly again. And fish oil capsules. Yes, they contain omega-3, but here's the problem: there, just one player on the team. When you pop that capsule, you're hiring one janitor. But open a can of sardines, you're inviting in an entire cleanup crew. Sardines don't just carry omega-3, they bring coenzyme Q10, the heart's motor oil, keeping your engine humming through 100,000 beats a day. They offer selenium, a powerful antioxidant that shields blood vessels from oxidative stress, almost like rust protection for your veins. And they bring vitamin B12, the unsung hero that supports your cardiovascular nerves and stabilizes your heartbeat. So while the world markets fish oil as the magic bullet, the truth is this: sardines are a whole symphony, not a single note. This is what true senior nutrition advice looks like: not buying into the hype, but embracing what actually works. Sardines are not just safe, they're strategic. In fact, when we talk about sardine safety for seniors, we should be asking a different question. Can you afford not to eat them? A long-term Japanese study followed individuals who ate small deep-sea fish, like sardines, 2 to 3 times a week. The result? Nearly 30% lower risk of heart attack and stroke compared to those relying on supplements alone. That's not a small number. That's the difference between life as usual and a life changed forever. When we talk about healthy eating for the elderly, we often imagine bland, restrictive meals. But sardines, they bring back joy, flavor, and function. They're affordable, they're accessible, and they're profoundly effective. So the next time someone asks what keeps your heart young, you might not need to mention your doctor or your pills. You might just point to a simple silver can and smile. Let's talk about something most seniors fear, often silently: fractures. One small misstep, a slip on wet tiles, and suddenly life becomes a series of hospital visits, bed rest, and long recoveries. The aging skeleton is like a house exposed to wind and rain. It doesn't crumble all at once, but gradually weakens until one storm knocks it down. That storm is usually a fall, and the quiet culprit: weak, brittle bones that have silently lost their density over decades. The first instinct for many is to grab a bottle of calcium pills, or maybe drink more milk, even when it causes bloating and digestive upset. But time and again, seniors follow these routines only to be told at their next checkup, your bone density hasn't improved. Why? Because calcium, on its own, is not the full answer. It's like buying bricks to build a house useful. Yes, but unless you have a foreman to guide those bricks into place, they just sit there, unused. That foreman is called vitamin D, and this is where canned sardines quietly outshine most supermarket supplements. Canned sardines are packed with both calcium and vitamin D, nature's perfect pairing for building and maintaining bone strength. The calcium comes from their soft, cooked-down bones, which, thanks to modern canning methods, melt easily into the meat. And the vitamin D, it's right there in the fish oil and meat, working as the guide to direct calcium into your bones, not just floating in your bloodstream. This isn't just healthy aging diet advice, it's senior diet science at its best. Nature, not a lab, made this pairing. And while many seniors are unknowingly suffering from poor absorption of calcium due to lack of vitamin D, those who eat sardines regularly are quietly strengthening their skeletons from the inside out. European Society for Clinical and Economic Aspects of Osteoporosis has even noted that women over 60, especially those past menopause, are among the most vulnerable to bone loss, and that calcium alone isn't enough. Their message: combine it with vitamin D in natural, bioavailable form, exactly like what's found in sardines. So here we are again, returning to elderly wisdom. Strength doesn't come from lifting weights or swallowing pills. Sometimes it comes from understanding the small things, from realizing that a humble can of fish contains more than flavor. It contains freedom, the freedom to climb stairs without fear, to play with your grandchildren on the floor, to walk unassisted, with confidence, well into your 80s and 90s. Canned sardines health isn't just about cholesterol and the heart. It's also about posture, balance, and the unspoken dignity of standing strong literally through every season of life. Now let's turn to another challenge many silently face. A challenge written in numbers on lab tests, but felt in every fatigue. Morning and sugar crash, afternoon, blood sugar. And the surprise, sardines have something to say about that, too. You may not feel it right away, but the struggle with blood sugar is a slow, persistent wave. 1 minute, you're fine. The next, you're tired. After a meal, your hands tremble, your vision blurs. For millions of older adults, these moments are the early whispers of something larger. Insulin resistance. It's a quiet battle that many don't even realize they're losing, until the lab results come back, or until the medications start piling up. But here's the truth, very few talk about this. Isn't always about genetics. It's not just about avoiding sweets. Sometimes, it's about choosing the right kinds of foods, the kinds that know how to work with your body. And once again, canned sardines quietly emerge as a powerhouse in this fight, offering not just nutrients, but a strategy grounded in senior nutrition, advice, and backed by research. Let's start simple. Sardines are rich in two things that blood sugar craves: high quality protein and healthy fats, particularly omega-3. When you pair sardines with carbohydrate-rich foods like rice or pasta, something remarkable happens. Those proteins and fats slow down how quickly your body absorbs the sugars. This means no sharp spikes, no sudden crashes, just smooth, stable energy that keeps you balanced throughout the day. It's called glycemic control, and it's one of the most important aspects of nutrition for seniors, especially those who are pre-diabetic or managing type 2 diabetes. Stable blood sugar is the foundation of steady mood, energy, and focus. But the benefits go deeper than that. See, when our cells stop responding to insulin, that key that unlocks sugar's entry into our cells, we develop what's known as insulin resistance. The body still produces insulin, but the doors are rusted shut. Sugar piles up in the bloodstream, unable to get where it needs to go. And here's where the true magic of sardines enters. Both omega-3, fatty acids, and vitamin D found richly in sardines have been shown to reduce inflammation, repair cellular membranes, and restore insulin sensitivity. It's like oiling the hinges of a rusty door, making it easier for insulin to do its job. A study in Europe followed seniors with pre-diabetes. One group maintained their normal diet. The other added sardines just twice a week. After 6 months, the sardine group showed remarkable improvement in both fasting blood sugar and insulin sensitivity. The progression toward full-blown diabetes slowed down significantly. This is elderly wisdom in action, not treating problems when they become crises, but nurturing the body consistently, quietly, with food that supports instead of stresses. We often underestimate the role of food in healing. We think of meals as either indulgence or obligation. But in the case of sardines, it becomes something different, entirely a form of protection, a calm defense against the daily waves of sugar, highs and crashes. Healthy eating for the elderly isn't about restriction, it's about alignment. And sardines, they align beautifully with the body's needs. They aren't flashy, they aren't expensive, but they are deeply effective. So whether you're watching your blood sugar, managing type 2 diabetes, or simply trying to prevent that next step, you may find your best support not in a bottle, but in a can. And now, from the vessels that carry your blood to the thoughts that carry your life, let's explore the most delicate and perhaps most sacred frontier of aging well, the mind. There's something quietly terrifying about forgetting. Not the small things where you placed your glasses, or the name of an old friend, but the deeper slips, walking into a room and not knowing why you're there, staring at a familiar face and struggling to recall their name. For many older adults, these moments become more frequent, more haunting, more personal. We often call it aging. We brush it off. But beneath that surface is the deeper fear that many won't speak aloud, the fear of losing ourselves. Yet, what if there was a simple, natural way to slow that process, to feed the brain what it needs to stay sharp, focused, and full of life? Once again, we return to the quiet wisdom packed inside a can of sardines. The brain is 60% fat. It's not just muscle or memory, it's structure built from oils. And the kind of fat we feed, it matters more than we've ever been told. DHA, one of the most essential forms of omega-3, is the building block of brain cells, the steel beams of our mental architecture. Sardines are among the richest natural sources of DHA, making them an extraordinary food for the aging brain. But that's just the beginning. Alongside DHA, sardines offer vitamin B12, a critical nutrient that maintains the insulation around nerve fibers. Imagine your brain as a network of electrical wires without proper insulation. The signals misfire, slow down, and weaken. Low B12 levels have been closely linked to memory loss, confusion, and even early stages of Alzheimer's. And then there's vitamin D, which researchers have now found to help clear beta-amyloid plaques, the waste material that builds up in the brain, and is directly tied to cognitive decline. Think of it as a janitor, sweeping away the clutter before it causes chaos. Together, DHA, B12, and vitamin D form a powerful triangle of protection, building strong connections, maintaining clean pathways, and keeping your thoughts clear and your memories intact. This isn't theory. This is senior diet science, backed by studies across the globe. In one major review, seniors who consumed omega-3-rich fish regularly, including sardines, had a significantly lower risk of developing dementia-related illnesses. Their reaction times were sharper, their memory more stable, their emotional resilience stronger, and what's more, these nutrients don't work in isolation. They enhance one another. The effect is not just additive, it's multiplicative. This is what we mean by healthy aging diet. Not scrambling for miracle cures after the damage has begun, but consistently feeding your body and mind with foods that support every system. And yes, this is also elderly wisdom, the kind that sees past trends, past marketing, and looks straight at what works. Sardines don't just support the body, they help preserve who you are, your thoughts, your memories, your stories, your presence. They give you the clarity to engage in conversation, the sharpness to tell a joke at dinner, the calm focus to read a book without rereading the same line 3 times. So when you reach for a can of sardines, you're not just opening a snack, you're opening a tool for longevity of the mind. You're choosing to age, not just longer, but better. But before we wrap up, let's talk about what happens next, how to choose the right sardines, how to eat them safely and deliciously, and what you need to watch out for depending on your health. Because like any good advice, senior nutrition advice must be practical. So, you're ready to give sardines a try, or maybe you've already got a few cans sitting in your pantry. But how do you actually choose the right one? And how can you make sure it fits safely into your diet? Especially if you're managing other health conditions. That's where real elderly wisdom comes in, not just knowing what to eat, but also how to eat it in a way that honors your body. Let's begin with selection. Not all sardines are created equal. When choosing a can, the first thing to look at is what the sardines are packed in. For the best health benefits, choose sardines packed in olive oil or spring water. Olive oil is a heart-healthy fat that helps preserve fat-soluble nutrients, like vitamin D, and enhances flavor without overwhelming sodium or sugar. Spring water, on the other hand, is perfect if you're looking to keep calories lower or maintain a very clean diet. Now, avoid sardines in tomato sauce or concentrated brine. Why? Tomato sauces often contain added sugar, and the sodium content in concentrated brine can be sky-high, something many older adults with blood pressure or kidney concerns need to watch out for. This is where sardine safety for seniors becomes more than a buzzword, it's a real consideration. Next up, matters if you can, go for sardines from the Atlantic coast countries like Portugal, Spain, or France. These regions have strict fishing standards, high-quality processing, and some of the best-tasting sardines on the planet. Think of it as choosing a fine wine, but one that nourishes your heart and brain. Now, let's talk about how to actually enjoy them, because for all their benefits, sardines do carry a strong flavor, but with the right approach, they can go from intimidating to irresistible. The simplest way: open the can, serve them with a bowl of warm rice or a slice of whole grain bread. If you're sensitive to the smell, here's a trick. Squeeze a few drops of lemon juice or sprinkle a little ginger powder. It neutralizes the odor and enhances the savory flavor. For a quick salad, mash the sardines with a fork. Mix in some chopped onion, fresh cilantro, a little lemon, and a small spoonful of mayonnaise. You've got a rich, protein-packed spread that beats anything you'd find in a store. Want to get creative? Crack 2 eggs into a bowl. Stir in your sardines with a bit of oil from the can, and cook it up as a savory sardine omelet. It's delicious, comforting, and delivers a serious nutritional punch for any meal of the day. But let's pause for a moment. Not everyone should eat sardines without caution. If you suffer from gout or have elevated uric acid levels, sardines, like many oily fish, are high in purines. During a flare-up, it's best to avoid them. In remission, consult with your doctor or dietitian to determine how often you can safely include them in your meals. This is what responsible, senior-focused eating looks like. Not avoiding powerful foods, but understanding how to use them wisely. Because nutrition for seniors is never one size. It's about personalization, awareness, and balance. And most of all, it's about dignity. You see, food is more than fuel. It's a choice we make every day about how we want to live. Sardines may not look fancy. They may not come with a sleek label or a celebrity endorsement, but they carry with them the kind of strength that lasts, the kind that keeps you walking, thinking, laughing, and showing up for the people you love. So as we move toward the close of this conversation, I invite you to think differently about what's on your plate, because sometimes the strongest things come in the smallest packages. Now, let's bring all of this home with one final, important thought. So here we are, at the end of a quiet revelation. What began as a simple question, are canned sardines healthy or harmful for the elderly, has unfolded into something much bigger. We've walked together through the hidden power of this humble food, how it strengthens the heart, builds bones, balances blood sugar, and fuels the brain. We've uncovered the healthy aging diet that doesn't require fanfare or fortune, just awareness and a willingness to return to what's real. And perhaps what matters most isn't just what sardines do for your body, it's what they remind us of. They remind us that true strength isn't loud. It doesn't come in glossy packaging or pharmaceutical promises. Sometimes, it comes in quiet wisdom, elderly wisdom, the kind passed down through lived experience, through generations who understood nourishment before marketing existed. Remind us that nutrition for seniors isn't about deprivation, but about choosing foods that serve your life, not just your taste buds. They remind us that healthy eating for the elderly doesn't have to be complicated. It has to be thoughtful. It has to be honest. It has to work. Canned sardines health isn't just a topic for discussion, it's a decision. A decision to choose well, to live well, and to age with clarity, strength, and grace. So the next time you walk past that quiet corner of the grocery store, where the sardines sit quietly among brighter, louder brands, pick one up, read the label, bring it home, share it with someone you love, maybe with some warm rice, maybe with a story. And remember this moment, not just as a nutrition tip, but as a turning point, because choosing that can isn't just choosing a food, it's choosing a mindset. One that says, I don't need flashy to be healthy. I need truth. I need real. I need what works. Let this be your quiet revolution, starting not with a supplement bottle, but with a silver can. Let it be a small act of care for your heart, your bones, your mind. And let it be a promise that no matter your age, you still have power over how you live and how you feel. If this message moved you, please take a moment now to support this channel. Like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it's a parent, a grandparent, or even yourself. Because elderly wisdom deserves to be heard and, more importantly, lived. Until next time, be well, be strong, and never underestimate what one small change can do.